broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, welcome, folks. Welcome. This is Josh Shanley, co-founder of Client Alchemist. And if you're looking for the For Sale by Owner training webinar, FSBO training webinar, you're in the right spot. Let me make sure that we're screen sharing and all is good. Can you see my screen? And can you hear me okay? If you can let me know in the chat. And also don't hesitate to let us know where you are dialing in from or calling in from, whatever the case may be. So it sounds like we're in good shape. Hear and see okay. Thumbs up. Nice. Nashville. Welcome. Westchester. Surf City, New Jersey. All right. Wichita. Good stuff. DFW. Fort Lauderdale. Des Moines. Tampa, Colorado. Washington State. I never know how to say that. How do you say Puyallup? I don't know how to say that one. Puyallup? Puyallup? Okay. Colorado Springs, Nampa, Scottsdale. Good. All right. So, good. We're good from that perspective. So, again, my name is Josh Shanley. I'm the co-founder of Client Alchemist. Our topic today is how to list and sell a FSBO a week in just minutes a day without any phone prospecting, door knocking, or expensive direct mail. Some real quick things. We already covered hearing and seeing us okay. I would recommend that you remove all distractions, turn your phone on vibrate, close down any other browsers, close your office doors if you haven't already. And I would encourage you to take notes because Mike, our guest today, is going to share a number of things that you can take action and implement like immediately, like as soon as we're done with the call today. So make sure that you take notes. But rest assured, if you miss anything, we've got you covered as well, and more on that in a minute. We're also going to have live Q&A at the end. So the presentation part is about 45 minutes. We've got a special offer for you, which I'll share with you as well, and then we'll go into live Q&A at the end. So if you have a question, make sure you pop it in the question box. And if we don't address it right then and there, we will address all of your questions, promise, on the Q&A at the end. Now, I sort of already mentioned this, but in full transparency, I want to let you know that we've got a special offer for you. We can't possibly share everything that Mike has learned listing for sale by owners now for many years in an hour's time today. So we put together a very special offer for those of you who are interested in diving deeper on this topic and want to be able to leverage Mike's exact system step by step, and we'll share that with the end. Either way, I promise you, you will leave today better equipped to sell for sale by owners, to list for sale by owners, to get for sale by owners coming to you and in conversation with you, again, without cold calling or door knocking or expensive direct mail. Either way, you will be in a better position in 60 minutes from now than you are right now. Mike's going to share with you 2 simple email scripts that you can start using immediately to get appointments with for sale by owners, to spark conversations, inbound conversations from them to you. He's going to share his complete for sale by owner snowball system, which is a 7-step process for taking a cold for sale by owner lead and turning it into multiple transaction sides, plus a bunch of powerful statistics you can use to help the for sale by owner, quote unquote, see the light, and how you can leverage 2 incredible third-party celebrity endorsements to do all the selling for you and a whole bunch more. So I mentioned that I recommend that you take notes, but if you miss anything, don't worry, because we've got 2 free bonuses for those of you who hang with us until the end. Okay, so you've got to hang with us until the end. If you do that, we've got 2 free bonuses. Number 1, we'll give you the ultimate for sale by owner lead cheat sheet, okay, where you can find for sale by owner leads for free. And number 2, we'll give you a PDF copy of today's slides, okay? So if you missed something, if you didn't get to jot down one of the scripts whatever the case may be, you'll have those. Okay. Now it may take us, it may be until the end of the day today or first thing in the morning that we get you both of those, but don't worry. Rest assured, we will send those to you. So my challenge to you would be, and the way that I look at any training like this is to find at least one little nugget, one gold nugget that can change your business. Because really, just one idea taken and implemented consistently can change the course of your business. Now, Mike will share a number of them today, but your goal is to at least find one. Now, really, really quickly, I'm going to introduce myself, then I'm going to introduce Mike, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mike, and he's going to take you through the training portion of today's call. Again, I mentioned my name is Josh Shanley. I'm the co-founder of Client Alchemist. For over 10 years now, I've been helping real estate agents attract clients to them without having to cold call or door knock or cold prospect. That's something that when I was selling, I didn't want to subject myself to and subject prospects to. And so I went to work learning how to reverse engineer that process. And I've now been teaching and helping agents do that. Thousands of agents attract hundreds of thousands of leads and tens of thousands of clients for over 10 years now. There's a couple of shots of my family, very happily married, 4 kids, 11, 8, 6, and 4. Now, before we get into some questions, I just want to take a minute to introduce Mike, who is our special guest. Mike Stott, I have known for a number of years now. And the reason why you should pay close attention to Mike today and really give your full attention to this is because what Mike is going to share with you is not theory or fluff. It's not theoretical stuff that might work. It is the process and the strategies and the tactics and the mindset that Mike has used now for a number of years to list and sell for sale by owners. Now, Mike has been in the real estate industry for 40 years.
30. This is my 38th year.
Yeah. And so he's got a ton of experience overall, which is even more reason to give him your full attention. But specifically, the process that he's going to walk you through, he's been consistently using since 2012 or 13, Mike?
2011, believe it or not.
Okay. And it has evolved over that time. And what you're getting right now is the process that's working right now for Mike. And he's going to share some of his numbers with you and just be a complete open book. And the last thing I'll say about Mike, and then he's going to dive in here, is that he truly cares about our industry and your success. And that'll become super apparent as he goes through this, and at his willingness to take your calls and emails and so forth, and just be a real person trying to help real people like yourself have a better business, sell more real estate, help more for sale by owners. So with all of that said, Mike, the ball is yours.
Great. Can you see my screen? I see. And you see it says stay on till the end?
You got it.
Okay. So Josh, for those of you that don't know, Josh was down last week with a cold/flu. So it's a good thing he's in Pennsylvania and I'm here in Georgia because I don't get sick. And so there we go. So I talk real fast. I get real excited. If you have a question, just go over to questions. At the end of it, you'll also be getting my email address and my phone number. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And I wanted to start with a whole new way to think about for sale by owners, because a lot of us come to this call and we're here not because we woke up this morning looking for conflict. And what I noticed in my early years with Tommy Hopkins and even Floyd Wickman and Mike Ferry, and now continued on through that lineage with Keller Williams Bold and a lot of the other, is that prospecting or lead generation tended to go one of two directions. One was very passive, which is you'll send out flyers or you'll do pop buys with people you know or that sort of thing, which gets results but limited results. And the other was very aggressive and confrontational. And none of us woke up this morning saying, I want more confrontation in my life. And what I discovered that in 2010, I had a horrible 2009, wasn't good, lost a lot of money, had to short sell my house, and I had 3 kids in college, and I needed to make money. And so I started seriously, and by the way, I had moved from where I was raised and had sold real estate for 25 years to Atlanta, Georgia, where I knew nobody because for the previous years I had been a speaker, trainer, and coach for a large company. So I was out and about. The only people I knew was at church, which had 27 real estate agents on the rolls, and Boy Scouts, which for our small troop had 7 people on the roll. So I had to make money now. If anybody on the call needs to make money now, you're going to be told by every trainer that you can work your past clients, your centers of influence for sale by owners or expires are going to be the quickest way to make money. And I decided to focus on for sale by owners. And so rather than thinking about them as, confrontational, or they're cheap, or they don't know anything, I want you to have this thought. Here's a new mind worm for you. And the mind worm is 40 to 50% of the for sale by owners will list, even in this, the strongest sellers market that most of us have ever seen. 40 to 50% of them will list in this marketplace. But here's what, the for sale by owner doesn't know when, and they don't know with who. They don't know why they should list with you. So your job is simply to stay in touch, provide them great information, and let them know why they should list with you. That spirit of contribution, that thought process gets me through the mornings when I don't want to do my lead generation. I'm coming from a spirit of contribution for a spirit of helpfulness. So here's a question I want you to ask yourself. Are you currently pursuing, or have you ever thought about pursuing for sale by owners? If you have, today we'll show you how to get started. And if you choose to participate and purchase the course, you'll get a lot of support and a lot of real practice systems that will help you make more money more quickly. And have you ever listed a for sale by owner or seen a for sale by owner list with one of your competitors? And if you've been in the business for more than a month and you've been paying attention, the answer to that question is yes. Would it be okay if your business became more predictable and easier? I'm going to show you some numbers from a special course that I held twice in the last 6 months that will show you such a large sampling of numbers, it's going to be hard to argue with the success that they had. And are you willing to invest your time, a little bit of money, in your business that will return many, 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 many times the cost and time and value? If the answer to any of these are yes, then you want to stay in on the call and you're in the right spot.
Hey, Mike.
My basic thought is always don't be like everyone else. Okay? I listen to a podcast virtually every day by a guy named Tim Ferriss. I'm a little behind. I'm on like 191 out of like 300, but I listen to them and I'll eventually catch up. But he basically says this accelerated learning, the 4-hour work week, the 4-hour shift, tools of the Titans. He's written 6 or 7 books. He says, look for the norm and then do the opposite. So don't be like everybody else. Don't be the person that's calling and say, when do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your home? And don't you know that you're not going to make as much money and what you're doing is wrong? Come instead from a spirit of contribution instead of chasing them. Have them become interested in the information that you're willing to share. Show them some respect. Offer them a lot of service. And if they reach the point where they can't sell, you're going to earn the right to interview with them. In fact, we have a FSBO specific triangle. We call it the trust triangle. And the first one is you want to find the lead. And then you're going to get into the small talk and the awkwardness. And let's face it, talking with the for sale by owner is awkward. Why is it awkward? It's awkward because they don't want to pay a commission and we don't want to work for free. So of course it's awkward. Of course it's awkward. It's our job to get over that awkwardness by taking some initiative and courage and asking them a question that will lead to getting into meaningful dialogue. And that meaningful dialogue may mean that they get a little uncomfortable and you offer a solution to a problem that they may not even have thought of, and you're going to connect. And you're going to connect at what I call a preview appointment. So I'm advocating that you go out with the for sale by owner. We'll show you exactly how to get appointments with 1 out of every 2.5 for sale by owners that you talk to. And then on that first appointment, you're there just gathering information and interviewing the for sale by owner to determine if you want to work with them. How's that for a different thought?
Hey, Mike.
And then they're going to appreciate and accept who you are and what you're doing. You're going to take the time and the follow up. And then if they're unable to sell on their own, you're going to do the listing appointment. You're going to secure the listing, and then you're going to leverage that using part of the package is stuff that Josh does that can leverage every listing into multiple transactions. Okay. So the question is does this work? And we've got a bunch of testimonials sprinkled through here. I think in the email series that Josh has sent out, Dave Jackson said, yes, this works. So far this week, 2 appointments and 1 listing. Less direct, softer, and more effective than bold. And Jim Steele, letting you know I got a $350,000 listing, following the program and using the emails. You guys are awesome. And I love success stories. I love success stories.
Hey, Mike.
But yes.
Can you go into full slide mode?
I can.
Yeah, a couple of folks had asked that. It's just kind of there's a lot of
blurry.
Yeah. Yep.
There you go. So there's Dave. This slide's blurry on its own. So since last June, by the way, Josh, can you believe it's been like 9 months since we've done a live interview?
Seriously.
It's crazy, a live webinar. And there's been a lot of changes in the last 9 months. So if you saw the webinar before, hang around. There's lots of new stuff in the program. And we have something that's really sort of unique in the industry. Stick around to the end. Here's the sales that I've made. I want you to notice that I have 3 people that bought. They were for sale by owners that listed and then bought. I have 1 listing that we rented for them, but it's on a lease purchase, and the guy's supposed to close in the year, this year. So we made $31.50 for the lease purchase up front, and then we're going to make another $12,000 when it closes. So if you add it all up, just in the last 7 months, I made $107,000 personally working for sale by owners. So as Josh mentioned earlier, I'm not speaking or pontificating from a platform where I haven't sold real estate in 10, 15, or 20 years. My job is my son-in-law and I sell about 50 homes a year. FSBOs are a significant portion of that. And then I coach real estate agents full time. So this is what I do. I'm in the trenches with you. Okay. So why brush up on FSBO skills? We are now in year 7 or 8, depending on the area of the country you're in which we have seen a very strong seller's market. The slowdown's coming. It may be a year, it may be 18 months, but it's coming. And if it isn't, even in this strong seller's market, I'm finding 4 out of 10 for sale by owners are still listing with agents. As the market slows down and the time on market gets longer, you're going to find for sale by owners listing probably 6 out of 10 instead of 4 out of 10. The market may be cycling downward, as I mentioned earlier. Inventory is growing in many parts of the country, which means it's going to be harder to sell on your own. And it's always better, I really believe this, that we add value to the transaction, and it's always better to use a great agent than it is to sell for sale by owner. So it's time, or very close to it, to get really freaking great at working with these sellers. And here's what I promise you, is this is a course that's geared towards working with sellers, but it's really a course on mindset and sales skills, and it will help you in all areas of your real estate business. So even if you're already really good at FSBO skills, you're going to get a little bit better working with for sale by owners, and you're going to get a lot better at working with any type of sale. So let's talk about something that I did since we last offered this course. Is I held a FSBO intensive. I got 10 of my coaching clients together 2 different times where we worked together for a month, and it basically covered 22 work days. Okay, now not everybody participated in every day. People had vacations and people got sick, and the best I can calculate is this equated to about 360 work days. During these 2 classes, we contacted just under 1,300 for sale by owners, which by the way, averaged to 3 emails sent a day. We were able to talk to 423 of them, or about 1 out of 3. It's actually 3.07. And they were able to visit 179 of them, which means 1 out of every 2.5 that they talked to, they determined that it was worth their time to go visit, and the for sale by owner allowed them to come over. Okay? They went on 48 appointments, which is 1 out of 4, and they listed 32 of them in the 5 weeks that we were tracking the numbers. I know that number is going to be higher because they, as you follow up, some for sale by owners might try on their own for 2 months or 3 months or 4 months before they give up and list with a real estate agent. But they listed 32 of them for over $8 million in volume. And I want you to ask yourself, and if you post it in the chat, how much money would you make if you sold an additional 10 houses a year next year? Okay? And I know if I'm going to see numbers 20,000, 30,000, 60,000, 100,000, people are going to make money working with for sale by owners. Now, here's what's cool, is unlike just my numbers, it would be easy to dismiss it, but these were 20 people that hadn't really worked for sale by owners before. Now, they're good real estate agents, but look at the results they got. So what's important, what you ought to be thinking to yourself is, hey, I'm interested. I'm interested. If this many different types of people from all over the country and Canada are getting these sort of results, maybe I should pay attention. And here, you know what? I mentioned earlier, this is sales skills. There's nobody tougher than a for sale by owner, because they're going to hammer you or try to hammer you. It becomes really easy when you know what to say. Over commission and service and everything, marketing, and you're going to be able to list any home with more confidence and less struggle by what you learned today. And I make a commitment to you. You have my 38 years of real estate experience along with everybody in the group's experience. I've sold over 3,200 homes, and I have over 10,000 coaching calls. Now, I'm just not somebody that said I became a real estate coach. I worked as a coach for a large national organization. Inman named me one of the top 25 coaches in the real estate business. I'm an International Coach Federation accredited coach. I went through the Academy, the Association for Coaching Excellence, and I did a 2-year degree in it that in Europe is a master's or a doctorate. In America, I get a certificate. And so we have some unique tools to bring to this course. And in addition, we've had over 1,600 agents pay for the course, and most of them still belong to a private Facebook group that has a lot of interaction going in it. So here's an actual email received. I sent out an email, and you get copies of the whole series with the course. I understand you're not looking for an agent right now, so this is the 3rd or 4th email I send in a series. We'll show you the first email in just a second. I'd emailed back and forth, and she hadn't responded, and then all of a sudden she responded. I'm actually looking for an agent, or as we now at the stage where the bank has told us to go ahead with that process, knowing that it's going to be a short sale. I'm looking for an expert in that process. I'd like 10 of these emails every day. Okay? But again, email, 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 they responded. Okay? Next one. I finally heard from our contract contact yesterday, we won't have the flexibility to sell on our own. We have to move out of the state earlier than we thought. Therefore, I must hire a realtor this week and schedule an open house as soon as possible. If you want to be considered by me, answer these questions. And I got this in 2013. Home sold, whatever, years in the business, support staff members, home sold in John Creek, and gone down to the Shaker Rag area. I called Paula, and we got the appointment. We took the listing. Okay, so her first ad ran in December, and she originally responded. She tried on her own for 3 months, then list with a discount broker, and she didn't. She ended up listing with me at the end of January, I believe. Okay, remember, this system is finding the lead. So how are we going to find the lead? And the way we do it is we use a couple of different sources, and we send them an initial email. And the email is real complicated. If I brought you a buyer, would you be willing to pay me a 3% commission? Wishing you success, Mike. And then I put the rest of my information in there. Okay? This is not a bait and switch. I'm not saying I have a buyer. I'm asking if they're offering a commission. If you're really worried about it, change the script just a little bit to say, are you offering a commission if a real estate agent brings you a buyer? That's even less of anything implied or any of that. And if you really don't like it, you can just throw it in and you can send email number 2, which is a long list of marketing ideas. But what happens is this email, and if you're using Craigslist or you're using Zillow's email or FSBO's email program, guess what? They will respond back, and about 80% of the time they respond back, you get their real email address, not one of those anonymous emails. So it's a great email. So how do you find them? In Craigslist, you go to your city, you go to real estate for sale, and then you select the area that you want to work, and then you select for sale, real estate by owner. Now, when we first started teaching this class, Craigslist was the best source because they'd oftentimes give you a phone number, but they give you an email address here. It's an anonymous Craigslist email, but it gets to the owners. So Craigslist is one source. Another source is Zillow. If you go to Zillow and type in the city or a zip code, and you go to listing type and you click just for sale by owner, you're going to have a number of for sale by owners pop up. And when they pop up, you're able to send them an email through the Zillow system, which has some limitations, but we show you how to deal with that. In the course, we actually have a video. It's a 14-minute video that walks you through exactly where to look and how to find their email addresses and or phone numbers if you're willing to call them. Okay? So we have a little video that shows you how to do that. Okay? So then what we do is we give you a series of emails, or you can make them phone conversation scripts if you're willing to call, and you can customize them completely to yourself. So on day 1, we send an email that says, are you offering a commission? And if you receive a response, immediately send FSBO 2. It's a long list of marketing ideas, and then call and try to see the home if they don't respond. If they don't respond in 2 days, or to 4 days, because I don't work on weekends, I send them FSBO number 2. And if they respond, say, when can I see the home? And you'll get in. If they don't respond, on day 7, send them FSBO number 3, which is a bunch of economic news. And we show you how to set up a Google alert so you'll automatically get at least one article each week that you can add to your economic news. And then on day 10 to 14, we send a FSBO email that says, how do I see the home? And then on day 17, I have a new car example. Day 20, we have a really. Day 23, we have a FSBO book, which we'll talk about. Day 27, I can net you more money. Day 30, good luck. I take them out of the system if they haven't responded after 30 days. With this course, you actually get a series of over 25 emails that you can customize and mix and match for a campaign that's very simple to implement and doesn't take much time. We teach you how to do Google canned responses. We teach you how to use Mac Mail and the signatures so that we set these up as signatures and they go out very quickly. Okay? And if they repost after day 30, you can decide whether you want to work with them. Here's my philosophy. I think getting in the door is so vital. I don't try to close for the listing. I don't try to close on that they're doing something that's going to cost them money. All we teach you to do is close to meet them face to face so that you can interview to see if you want the listing. The reason why is 72% of all sellers interview one agent and one agent only, and 95% interview 3, 2, or 1 listings. They believe, for sale by owners, believe that real estate agents don't add value and we're all the same. So when you get with them face to face, or belly to belly, as Tommy Hopkins used to say and Floyd Wickman used to say, you will be able to show them that you add value to the transaction, and they'll be able to see that, and then they'll decide to list with you. The proof is in the numbers. 89% of all sales are made with the real estate agent listing the home. 90% in the South. The for sale by owner is 8% to 11%, or 7% to 11%, with the overall average being 8%. Okay? And then a number of them first listed with an agent and then go for sale by owner really changes. But seller sold home without using a real estate agent or broker is only 7%. Okay? 7% down to 6%. And that's a very interesting figure. Here's another thought. All banks who are in the business of making good decisions about money, there's a tip, besides the mind worm, if you're going to write something down, banks are in the business of making good decisions about money, and when they get a listing or they have a short sale, they require that they list with the real estate agent, and they see the value in paying us a full commission. So step one is get them chasing you by offering some unique contributions. I oftentimes have agents say, can you set up a drip campaign? I don't think it's good to drip on people. I do think it's good to have a series of canned emails that are ready to go out that you can vary to mix up your message. Okay, this sounds like a lot, but when you have a system, it becomes very easy to manage, and the FSBO portion of your lead generation strategy is done in 30 minutes a day or less. In fact, in many days, it's 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm getting the results, over $107,000 in income in the last 7 months. Okay, so here's one. They asked, what do you charge? And he says, I'm a mortgage broker, I'm getting married. So I was able to customize it very simply. I wrote this paragraph quickly, and this portion of it was all a canned response. So look at this thought, though. What do you charge? I say I charge nothing until I find a buyer, get them pre-qualified, negotiate on your behalf, do the paperwork, get the offer accepted, do the inspections and any further negotiation, get ready for closing, et cetera, et cetera. And then and only then I ask for 3%, and generally the buyer's agent asks for 3% also. The real question should be, how much money will you net and put in your pocket from this sale, and how can I make this process as smooth as possible? Okay, I have over 33 years of experience. You know, this was 2014, and over 3,000 happy clients who will tell you I net you the most money possible by doing the work. Let's get together. Okay, there's a powerful email, but I've customized it, so that's why I don't believe in setting up a drip campaign. The reasons why these emails work is they're generally short, and they're generally informative, and they convey a potential benefit or solution to the reader. In fact, Adam says, I just got off the phone with a lovely lady, and it looks as though she may be listing with me. I just wanted to thank you guys over at Your Coaching Matters for helping me build my real estate career. I'm doing a happy dance. I love happy dances. Rex Hunter said, you are the best. This is the greatest response rate I have ever experienced with any training program. If we go back to the numbers, look at it. 1,300 emails sent, and 1 out of every 3 of them got a response. That's a 33, 34% response rate. Try that with direct mail or general cold calling or anything. There. So then we go on the appointment. What do you say? We actually have 2 proven powerful PowerPoint templates. Now, the truth of the matter is, people use the PowerPoint templates initially, and then they just go over and follow the scripts with the PowerPoint and just have a conversation with people. When we started this program 8 years ago, PowerPoint was impressive. Now it's not so impressive. What's impressive is knowing the PowerPoint well enough that you can give it, you can go through it without using it, and it sounds like you're just having a great conversation with people. But until you learn how to do it, you might like the crutch of having the PowerPoint presentations. I mean, here's this. The pre-listing is just a simple 11 slides. Here's the first slide. It says, what's the biggest advantage to you in selling on your own? And they may hem and haw a little bit, but they're going to come around with saving the commission. Bam. The second slide says, what would be the biggest advantage a buyer would have in buying direct from you? Now, they've never thought of that. But if they really think about it, or you prod them a little bit, they're going to say the same commission you're trying to save in most cases. Is there any possible disadvantage to you in continuing to try to sell on your own? Now, again, I'm not saying do this over the phone. This is something you do face to face, so you can soften it with smiles and your body language and giving them lots of approval and acknowledgement and acceptance. But you ask them who has the power in negotiating, you with one home to sell, or a buyer, or a buyer with 10 to 20 choices or more and the money, and maybe a real estate agent. Now, this is a real tough conversation, and remember I said earlier, they're going to have to be a little uncomfortable to change, and the next 8 slides, soften it and then close for the appointment to actually go list the property, okay? Now, the listing presentation is a little bit more polished, and it says, we can sell your home, and it shows you all the things you're going to do. The course isn't really a listing presentation course. I assume most of you know how to list a property with a good lead. So the real value is in this pre-listing portion. But if you didn't have one, you're welcome to have this one. It's done by a professional graphic designer. You may like to use it for your listing presentations. Okay. The FSBO cheat sheet. In order to go and talk with for sale by owners with a hot dog attitude instead of an oh God attitude, is to know that you add value. And this FSBO cheat sheet, when you give it to them, the numbers are overwhelming. This is the National Association of Realtors profile, does a profile of home buyers and sellers each year. And this is, 11 years, 12 years worth of data. And in the 12 years, the median sales price is better with a real estate agent than as a for sale by owner. Average of 51,000 or 22%. Now, I'm not saying listing with a real estate agent is going to net you 22% more, because the study's flawed. For sale by owners tend to be cheaper. People with money list with a real estate agent. We teach you how to say all this. But even if you cut it in half and in half again, that's more than the 3% we charge for working with them. In addition, FSBOs who tried and then listed and sold for an average of $15,900 more in 2017, or 8% increase. So what was different? The for sale by owner tried to sell on their own. They couldn't. And as a group, when they sold, they netted 8% more than just a regular for sale by owner. How do you explain that unless that we add value? And then I say more expensive homes are less likely to go for sale by owner. All banks list their property with an agent. Only 5% of all sales are FSBO, not to a buyer the seller knew. There's the worry, the expense, and the time involved. There's a 2017 report from Collateral Analytics that does a much more thorough job than what the National Association of Realtors did. And you can get a copy of that also. And it shows that for sale by owners, the same house in the same areas at a sampling of over 1.5 million sales sold for 5.5% less than an agent would get them. And their conjecture is just what we've been saying for years, is that a buyer that buys direct from a for sale by owner is at a stronger negotiating commission, and they want to save the same 6% or 5% that the for sale by owner wants to save. And then think about this. In America, things of value go away. We don't still put 8-track tapes in our car. In fact, we don't even put CDs in our car anymore because we all have Bluetooth and our smartphones. Yet, at the same time people stop using travel agents, at the same time that all sorts of things have gone out of business, 90+% of all sellers sell using a real estate agent. So, one way to say that is either 90% of America is stupid, or maybe you want to reconsider selling on your own. Okay? So stay on to the end. You get a copy of this PDF that you can adjust and make for your own. Here's the collateral analytics study. It's a 30-page report. If you really want it, go to collateralanalytics.com and then search for saving real estate commissions at any price. And here's where it says, assuming that both buyers and sellers pay the commission, one of them might have expected something less than the average, 5.5% result savings. Here we find an average difference of about 5.5% lower prices achieved for FSBO sales compared to MLS sales for similar property using the most accurate method ever used to control for property differences. Wow. And our aggregate analysis for the data during 2017 suggests over 7%. It's all in the report. If you're willing to look at it, I have a copy. If you buy the course, you get it. If not, you can look it up yourself here at the website. Dave Ramsey, noted cheapskate and author of The Total Money Makeover and the founder of Financial Peace University, considered in America one of the smartest people about money. And I won't read the whole letter, but you can search Dave Ramsey letter for sale by owner. He says between basic mistakes, pricing errors, and lack of negotiation skills, you'll cost yourself more than the agent's commission by trying to sell it yourself. Wow. Noted cheapskate says that. And here's a guy, I love this one. This is now, 7 years old, 6.5 years old now. The founder of ForSaleByOwner.com had a $2 million property in New York City, which granted doesn't have a multiple listing service. He tried to sell it for sale by owner. He gave up. He listed with a real estate agent who raised the price $100,000 and got it sold. And Colby Sombrado paid $129,000 to get it sold. Wow. If there was ever anybody in the history of real estate that would be dedicated towards selling for sale by owner, it would be the founder of FSBO.com, and he listed with an agent. USA Today has an article that says, for sale by owners can be a hard sale. Agents often worth their weight in commission. We didn't know what we were doing. We thought it would be easier. I would go through a broker again, not a question. After she took over, it was such a relief. Wow. And then Steve Harney, our friends over at Keeping Current Matters. If you don't subscribe to Keeping Current Matters, subscribe to Keeping Current Matters. It's the best money you can spend each month. They do these great infographics. The percentage of homes selling as a FSBO has decreased from 19% to 9%. And by the way, it's 8% in 2017 in the last 26 years. Mr. or Mrs. For Sale by Owner, how do you explain that with the birth of the internet and the explosion of the internet and all the information that's out there and Zillow and everything that should make it easier to sell for sale by owner, that more than half of the people have stopped trying to sell for sale by owner? Could it be that you might want to think about what's the best way to put the most money in your pocket with this sale? I know you're not there yet today, but I'm willing to talk to you when you are ready, and I'll stay in touch with you between now and then. And then HomeGain did a survey that says people that list with a real estate agent are twice as likely to sell their home. Wow. And this is the dialogue here. 22% of FSBOs eventually decided to enlist the aid of a real estate agent to sell their home. And 55% of those who couldn't sell on their own listed with a real estate agent. Okay? So I've heard figures everywhere from 3 out of 4 end up listing to 1 out of 5 based on here. But this 55% figure means that if you're not selling in 2 to 3 weeks in our market, half of those people are going to list with a real estate agent. Powerful stuff. So we give you a lot of support materials. I've talked about the listing presentation. I've talked about the email series. I'm going to talk about some of the other support things that we offer also. I have a book that I wrote on how to sell your home, and I just updated it to 2018. I'm sorry, I have an old version of the picture in here. Sent it to professional graphic designer. It's about 80 pages, and it's exactly what I would do to sell my home if I was going to sell it on my own. You get a copy of this in Word. Now, you have to know how to use Word. I'm not going to update it for you. You need to personalize it and make it your own. So put your name on it. You make it all your own. Everywhere where I say Northwest Atlanta, you want to change to whatever your area is in it. If you don't like pieces of it, take it out. If you want to add stuff, make it your book. You become an author and then an expert. Now, I have had other people try to sell me making books that charge between $2,000 and $10,000 to write a book. You're getting a book that's already written. All you have to do is update it and get it printed, or you can send it in a PDF format if you want. Then you'll also get something that we call the FSBO Diaries. It's 4 years of relevant emails going back and forth between the for sale by owner and different real estate agents. Okay? And that's included. This is like a 50-page book. You keep this out, and you're going to have responses to almost every encounter that you could have. In fact, I'm going to make a note to myself to update the FSBO Diaries as we go through the next couple of months, and we'll make that applicable to everybody. And then the book. Okay, so we put together a very special package. Josh, I've been talking through a fire hose, and they're probably all drowning. If we have any questions that should be answered now, or why don't you take over from here, because I need to drink some water.
Right on.
I cannot hear you.
Yep.
There you are.
Yep, right on. So good stuff, Mike. Let's see here. Let me get rid of this. So, can you see my screen, Mike? Can everybody see me?
I can.
Okay, perfect. All right. So here's what you get with the course. We're going to walk through. I told you we have a special offer for you. We're going to walk through that special offer, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. So I'm going to take a few minutes to walk you through that and tell you how you can take advantage of that. So first and foremost, you get Mike's step-by-step, click-by-click training modules. You get to watch over his shoulder as he does the process, the system that he's created, step by step, right? That's number one. It's updated, new and improved with what's working right now for Mike in his business. And it's also the exact process used by now over 1,000 agents over a 4 or 5 year period who list and sell for sale by owners every day. It's laid out for you to model and just pretty much swipe his system. Now, the core training modules easily have a value of $2,000. You're also going to get unlimited lifetime access to all upgrades and updates. As Mike updates the course, adds a new email template, changes a process here or there, whatever the case may be, you get lifetime updates and upgrades. That's a $1,000 value, bringing the total value to $3,000. You're also going to get exclusive support materials. So you'll get instant access to a private library of tools, forms, spreadsheets, PDFs, PowerPoints, and more, which will give you the confidence you need for every conversation and appointment. That's a $650 value, bringing the total value to $3,650. You'll also get the entire swipe file of email scripts and templates. Okay, these are the out-of-the-box scripts and emails that Mike has mentioned. He's shown you a few of them. He'll also walk you through, or they walk you through, handling objections and getting the for sale by owners interested in contacting you. Basically, getting them chasing you so you're not chasing after them. The swipe file of scripts and templates is a $540 value. You're going to get unlimited and exclusive support. So you get expert help with any questions you may have and fast. Mike's team is on call and ready to service all your needs. So you can quickly implement everything that you learn. And that's a $500 value, bringing the total value to $4,690. So obviously, this would be a pretty incredible deal as it is. But we wanted to make this a complete no-brainer. So we put together the following bonuses to sweeten the pot. Now, Mike's mentioned a few of them already, but I'm going to go over them anyway. Bonus number 1 is Mike's pre-listing and listing presentation. These are proven, powerful, done-for-you presentations that you'll get in PowerPoint and PDF format, and they're completely customizable for you. So you can edit them with your branding or with anything that you would like to add in addition or tweak for your market or for your business. That is a $700 value, bringing the value over $5,000. You also, as Mike mentioned, get the FSBO diaries. This is over 70 pages of every possible response you might receive and how to respond back in a way that moves the conversation along. It keeps the conversation going, which gives you an opportunity to schedule more appointments. That's a $200 value. Now, the book, you get exclusive ownership rights to the For Sale by Owner handbook. You can use the handbook immediately to differentiate yourself in the eyes of the For Sale by Owner and position yourself as an authority, an expert, someone who's looking to serve first and foremost, coming from a place of contribution first, bringing value to them first before asking for anything in exchange for that value. Now, that book, Mike mentioned, you can go out and have your own book created for anywhere between $2,000 and $10,000. So a value of $1,200, I think, is more than fair on something like that you're going to be able to leverage for you and your business. You're also going to get a private online mastermind group. So you'll be able to mastermind with and get feedback from and network with other like-minded real estate pros as an exclusive member of this ever-growing community. That's a $680 value on top of everything else. So here's who this will help, right? This is how to think about this and determine if this is something that is for you and will help you. If you have 0 listings right now, or if you have tens or even hundreds of listings right now, this will help you. If you're a brand new agent looking for a dependable source of listings without having to spend thousands of dollars to get them, if you're an experienced agent looking for a dependable source of listings without having to beg for the business, or if you'd like to leverage your personal or virtual assistant so that they can more than pay for themselves. You can have them be doing the initial reach out, the initial conversation starting emails, and you can take the ball where necessary. So if all this course did was help you to never have to rely on an endless hours of unrewarding cold calling, prospecting, door knocking, or buying leads, would that be worth it? If it could help you finally build a predictable and scalable business, so you'll never have to live commission check to commission check, would that be worth it? Or if it helped you close just 1 additional deal each quarter, that's just 4 deals in the next 12 months, would it be worth it? I'd say it'd be worth it even if you just got 1 more deal in the next 12 months. So we had 2 options when creating this and pricing this updated version of the course. We could go as cheap as possible and sell it to as many agents as possible, which wouldn't really incentivize us to really stack the value. Or option number 2, our second option, require a little bit higher investment, but in exchange for that investment, we are able to devote more resources to guarantee your success with FSBOs and beyond. So think about this. Now, some of you answered this, but not that many. What is 1 deal worth to your business? And go ahead and post that in the chat. What is 1 transaction for you and your business? Is it $3,000? Is it $5,000? Is it $10,000? And then multiply that by 12. What if you did 1 more deal each month? Think about that. Think about how life-changing that could be for you and your business. So we thought long and hard about charging as much as $1,990 for this exclusive program and package, which I think you'd agree would obviously still be a great deal. But because you're on this training with us right now, you're not going to pay anywhere close to that. You can get started right now for just 1 payment of $490. And to do that, you can just head over to clientalchemist.com/FSBO. clientalchemist.com/FSBO. And I think Mike, not Mike Stop, but my Mike, might be on the chat here. And if not, we'll get that posted in the chat right now. But just one couple more things, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A and let all of you start enrolling. Excuse me. So now you have two choices. You can do nothing and not take the leap of faith, which is 100% risk-free, by the way, which I'll get to in a moment. Or you can pony up this small investment today compared to all the value you'll be getting in return and just give it a try. Just give it a shot. If we can't help you consistently attract and list for sale by owners, then we don't deserve your money, which is why Mike is offering a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. You sign up today. If you don't like it for any reason, we don't care if it's day 29, 23 hours, and 59 minutes from now. You let us know, and we'll give you your money back. And if you're not extremely happy with your investment, we'll happily offer you a prompt and courteous refund. So the only decision you have to make today, it's pretty simple. Do you think this could work? Do you think this could work? If yes, then just give it a try for 30 days. Try it out on us and let us make good on our promise to you. And you can do that again at clientalchemist.com/FSBO. The real question to think about is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time each day to try this out? Which, if it does even half of what we're claiming on today's training, will pay for itself in no time at all. With your first extra deal, with one extra deal, for most of you, you will get at least a 10-to-1 ROI on the small investment for the program. At least. For some of you, it'll be 20, 30, 40, 50-to-1 ROI with just one deal. Ryan Smith says, this is a fun little story. I viewed a FSBO over 2 years ago when I first moved to the area I'm living in. He was selling a $350,000 condo privately. Turns out he sold it on his own. But we stayed in contact and became friends. And 2 years later, he called me to list his $420,000 home and is leasing a property for a year, then buying a $900,000 home next year. So he missed out on one transaction, but because he stayed in contact, he picked up two more worth exponentially more to his business than the initial one. And Tracy says, I can testify that this works. I've listed 5 properties since taking Mike's FSBO class. The lowest listing price has been $370,000. This has been a major game changer for me, says Tracy. And Mike says this is the king of modesty. I'm not setting the world on fire with this class, but it has changed the way we do some business. The email signature is a great idea. I used to send letters to apartments and expireds to the tune of $1,200 to $1,500 per month. I've started using Spokio to find email addresses and started sending emails instead using your method. 2 weeks ago, I only mailed 240 and sent 60 emails. Letters gave me 11 responses, which, by the way, is actually a really good response. But the emails got him 21 responses. So over 33% of the people responded to the emails. By the way, I've sent to 39 FSBOs and have had 7 appointments. Got 5 listings. 1 is already sold and closed, cash deal. 1 more is under contract. Class has great ideas that work. Yeah, I think that's a significant understatement.
Josh, let me say one thing is, I cannot believe. Well, let's go to the next bonus because it's coming up. The next thing that we do is on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Okay.
From 11 to 12 Eastern Standard Time. I have another webinar just like this. It's through Zoom instead of GoToMeeting. And I have 20 to 40 people get on the call and ask me any question regarding anything in real estate that they want to ask. Now, a lot of the people are involved in FSBO, so we tend to have more for sale by owner questions than the others. But it's like coaching, and you get 6 months of the Tuesdays the coach is in for $490. I mean, if you 20 sessions at $25 each to get your questions answered, that's so worth it just amongst itself.
Yeah. So what Mike is alluding to is the last 2 bonuses that we have. We have 2 fast action bonuses. which if you sign up today, you will receive, but only if you sign up today. Number one, what we call in Client Alchemist our transaction avalanche campaign library. These are campaigns that we've designed to help you take your FSBO listings, okay, or any listings, right? But when you get some new listings with this for sale by owner training, and turn them into multiple transactions, campaigns that you can use to leverage those listings in a way that create many more opportunities for you. And then Mike mentioned 6 months free of what he calls the Coaches In. Those are live Q&A calls held every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to noon Eastern. You can come on the webinar and you can or call in and ask about anything, right? Doesn't have to be FSBO related, certainly can be.
Nope.
But those are available to you for the minuscule investment, one-time investment of $490. Okay, yeah. So go to clientalchemist.com, clientalchemist.com / FSBO, clientalchemist.com / FSBO. And I do see that we've had a few people already get enrolled, which is awesome to see. By the way, some of you, with our help, we got some numbers that came in that were pretty impressive as far as value per transaction in your market. It would not take much for you to get a significant return, really for any of you to get a significant return on the investment in this course. Fred Santangelo, welcome to the program. I'm having trouble bringing up some of the other names thus far, but Fred, welcome. So at this point, I'm going to open it up for Q&A, but do not let that stop you from getting enrolled right now. You can go on over. When you go over to clientalchemist.com / FSBO, you're going to be taken to this URL. That's just a forwarding URL. So you can get enrolled right here. Let's see here, right here now. I'm posting the direct link in the chat as well. This is our secure site. This is what it looks like, confirming everything that you're going to get access to today when you take action right now. All you have to do is fill that out. You'll get a welcome email with instructions on how to get started. And you'll get more information about some of the additional bonuses as well in the very near future. So let's see here. Okay, and still not understanding. Somewhere in the email communications, it talked about not having to knock on doors or call. Is that just because of the emails? Well, I think you're downplaying the significance of that. Yes, the whole idea here is that Mike has created a system that will get you in conversation with the for sale by owners and create the opportunity for an in-person appointment without having to cold knock on doors or cold call, etc. Now, if those are things that you choose to do and are okay with doing, the training that you'll get from Mike about how to present yourself, how to conduct yourself, the questions to ask, and things along those nature will help you be exponentially more successful in those endeavors. But you won't need to do that in order to make that happen. Let's see here. In a hot seller's market, why would someone sell as for sale by owner?
Because they think they can save 3 to 6%.
Yeah. And I would say, Mike, would you say that in a hot seller's market there are more for sale by owners or less?
More.
Because they think it's easier because homes are selling.
They think it's easier, and 4 out of 10 are selling. By owner. 4 out of 10 I find are selling on their own. I question whether they make as much money as if they listed with a real estate agent, but that's not, the purpose of the course is not to get into arguments. The purpose of the course is to spend time with people that you want to spend time with.
Yep. Here's a question we get a lot on these calls. Does the program touch on Canadian markets at all? I'm in Alberta, and the FSBO market is a little different here.
it works, but the Canadian Association of Realtors have no statistics. But I've never had anybody that used the USA statistics that had the Canadians argue with them. They follow so closely, it makes sense if you think about it. And then if you want, you just use different statistics. The collateral analytics statistics, I don't know if they included any Canadian markets or not, but it's really not, it's North American and it says North America rather than the USA. So yeah, I've had dozens of people buy it in Toronto, Alberta, British Columbia, and they use it and they like it and they make money doing it.
Sure. Yep. I mean, we've definitely had a number of success stories over the years from Canada. And typically, other than, like you said, the statistical aspect, what I've found is it's not really as different in Canada as Canadians seem to think. You're still selling a person's home, and still, the mechanics, generally speaking, are the same. Obviously, there can be some differences, but
we're not going to talk about the women's hockey team at all.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a time limit on?
Had to poke a little.
Yes. Is there a time limit on this offer to get the today's fast action bonuses, the last two bonuses? You do need to enroll today. Everything else, you can get access to. If you for whatever reason you can't enroll today, let me know. Shoot me an email when you're ready, and we'll take good care of you. But those fast action bonuses are for today. Let's see here. Come on, this is your time to pick Mike's brain here. Dan Goon, welcome. A number of people had asked about a replay link. We'll get the recording, the replay out of this, hopefully first thing tomorrow morning, so long as all went okay. Kim Gillum, welcome to the program. Excited to have you on board as well. Let's see here. Someone asked, I also see that there is an option for 3 payments as well. Does that include the one-time bonuses? Yes. You will get access to those. You will lose, if you don't complete the 3 payments, you do lose access. So you are committing to making the 3 payments if that's the option you choose, but certainly you are welcome to choose the 3-pay option if that works better for you at this point in time. Let's see here. The reason I asked is because it's much harder to get emails here. Usually they list with a licensed broker who lists their home on the MLS. And the challenge we face at that point is that we're technically soliciting business away from another agent. At that point they are listed. But you should be able to find the for sale by owner contact info the same as you would in the States.
And then the question is how do you get to talk to them before they list with one of those discount brokers? And we cover that in the course also.
Yep. Excuse me. Does your campaign or campaigns include any direct mail, and how often do you go and talk to them?
It does not include direct mail, but if you want to, you could take any of the emails and make a letter out of it and send it to them. And occasionally I do that if I can't find the owner. And then going and talking to them, I will occasionally, if I'm in the area and I got nothing else to do, just knock on the door. Again, it's not part of the course, but we teach you how to do that. But basically, it's every other day I try to talk to them, every other work day. So 10 times or so in the first month. And if they don't respond before then, I sort of give up and move on to the next one. Because in my market, which is a small subsection of Atlanta, I'm finding that I'm getting about 3 new for sale by owners a day on the average.
And
so I don't need to
just
follow
to be clear,
up.
Mike is in a large market, but the area that he works is a small segment of that larger market. He's not trying to, cover a 50-mile radius and be
No,
all
it's
things to all
basically a
people.
population of about 500,000 people is what I'll cover. It's 7 or 8 zip codes.
Yep. And we also have, I believe, a number of case studies and success stories of people in really small market areas as well.
Oh yeah.
Because there are benefits to either one. In the larger markets, you may have more opportunities. In the smaller markets, you may have fewer opportunities but less competition, and so it's easier to get in conversation and get the appointment and turn that appointment into the client when it becomes appropriate. I'm wondering how much of this course would transfer or translate to expireds.
A fair amount of it does in terms of philosophy. And what you'd want to do is come up with your own series of emails. My challenge is I've been working on rewriting my expired course, and our market is so strong in Atlanta right now, in the area that I'm working with. We have below a 2-month supply of homes. Homes that are selling, meaning 2 times the median sales price or under, is generally below 1 month. I'm only seeing like 10 to 12 expireds a month, and a lot of those they're not follow-upable with because they're corporate owned or they're real estate owned or that sort of thing. So I've just sort of put it on hold, and I will redo the expired course before too long. It's but it's part of it, and it works. And people have taken, I'd say the 2 courses, they're probably about 40% the same material, if that helps you.
Okay. Someone said something to the effect of about 50 to 60% of for sale by owners in their market are investors. Do you have any thoughts on how you might work them, if at all, differently, or what you might do with them?
Yeah. I've got one investor that's now listing with us, and the upside, the downside is they're a little harder nut to crack. The upside is they tend to be more than one transaction every 7 or 8 years. So what you have to do is you show them a lot of service so that you add value. And what that means is probably finding a buyer for one of their listings so that they see how you work. But they're worth contacting. They're worth talking to, because you can at least then say, how did you find the house? And generally they found it was a for sale by owner or a probate sale, and you can learn how they do their business. And what you'll find out is that a lot of the people buying for sale by owners are investors, and they only want to pay 60 to 70% of what they think the value is in order to make a profit when they resale, which allows you to go list other for sale by owners more effectively. So it's worth talking to. My experience has been, and this would be a good question for the whole group on a Tuesday or through the private group that we have. My experience has been that it's valuable to talk to them, but until you do something for them, they don't see you as a valuable asset.
There you go. Good question. We have a few more minutes for questions, so you can keep those coming. Congratulations to a couple more: Claudette Anderson, Gary Reyes, Christine Johnson, on taking action. And welcome to the program. One thing we didn't highlight, it's kind of been sitting here, but I sort of alluded to this at the beginning, but Mike is so passionate about helping you all succeed and so invested in that he has no problem putting his personal email and personal phone number on a large training webinar like this. And so if you have questions that you're not comfortable asking live here, you can email or call Mike. He's happy to take those. He may not be able to take them all immediately, but he put it out there for you, and so that's pretty That's a pretty clear indication about, where Mike's heart is, and his heart of service that he's mentioned several times here, come from a spirit of contribution and service. And he does the same with this program for all of you. So he's not, he's practicing what he preaches the same way that he teaches you to do it with For Sale by Owners. Let's see here. Sorry, my question made no sense. For Sale by Owners, sellers here have a really cost-effective option to list their home on the MLS while still being technically a For Sale by Owner. These For Sale by Owners are no different, although getting their email addresses is impossible. Here's the number one FSBO site in my market for reference, comfree.ab. Well, I mean, here's the thing that I would recommend. Give the program a chance. Mike's going to help and look to problem solve for you and come up with solutions. And when you figure it out, great. And if you don't, there's no risk, right? No risk, no reward. And Mike, I don't know if you were about to say something there or not.
Yeah, it's the discount brokers. And by the way, we have a discount broker that's 5 miles from my office that does 1,500 sales a year. She lists them for a flat fee of 5% and then 0.75% at closing. She's very effective. She's franchised it in several other states. And what I'm able to show is that her average time on market is more than mine, and her list price to sales price ratio is less than mine. And I ask them, to do a question, call her with a question and see how long it takes you to get an answer. And so I provide better service than she does. So the challenge with the discount brokers is getting to talk to them at all. And I have a solution, and it may not be for you, but it's sort of an advanced topic beyond the scope of this. But if you want to talk more, just email me or call me. Even better, buy the course, and I'll show you everything that I do to combat that if I feel I need to.
Chuck, the 2 additional fast action bonuses are the Transaction Avalanche Campaign Library. That's one that we provide at Client Alchemist. And number 2 is 6 months free of what Mike calls the Coaches In, which are live Q&A calls every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to noon Eastern. And you can come on the webinar or call in and you can ask anything. Real estate related. I'm sure if you ask Mike anything, he'll give you his opinion. But you're going to get better answers related to real estate probably.
Yeah.
Another question was, you mentioned that some of these statistics come from articles and other sources. Can you give those sources? Well, Mike did as he went through. They were on the slides and so forth, and we are going to give you a PDF copy of those slides.
Yeah.
So
that's about a third of what we have, and you'll get the rest when you sign up for the course. And yeah, it's all there.
Yeah. But each of the ones mentioned today were on the particular slide or mentioned by Mike. Stephen Charlton, welcome. Let's see here. Okay, this will be fun. Hi, Mike. Just this morning, I reached out to her For Sale by Owner, which is also a recent expired listing, and received this response. It's not listed. We are allowing realtors to show it if you have a buyer interested, but at this time, we're not interested in listing with an agent. I don't know of a buyer for them right now. Is my best next move to provide a CMA or ask for a preview?
Great. I understand. And here's the question I would ask them is, what are you doing when you sell the house? And we have a standard response. There's 6 reasons why I want to see the house. And even though I don't have a buyer currently, you never fib, somebody else in my office might, and I'll describe it to them. Second reason is, if you sell on your own, I'll be able to use your home for comps to help other buyers and sellers sell. Third reason is, if you sell on your own, you may have other people that were interested that don't have an agent. I'd love for you to refer them to me. I'd also like to help you buy another house if you're going to stay in the area, or refer you. if you're going to go anywhere else in the country. And of course, the last reason is I'm finding, I'm a great salesperson, and I'm finding that 4 out of 10 for sale by owners end up listing with a real estate agent. And if you ever reach that point, I'd like to be somebody that you interview. So yes, I'd like to come out. I promise you, no high pressure sales pitch. I'll give you some free FSBO ad sites, which we didn't talk about. I'll help you make your Zillow ad better. And I'll shake your hand and say, thank you for showing the house. If I ask you to list, you can kick me out. Fair enough.
There you go. What are 2 to 3 quality FSBO lead gen sources that Mike currently uses? Craigslist and Zillow would be the top 2,
And
right?
FSBR.com, FIZBER.com.
Yep.
Or if you have a military base, militarybyowner.com. And then there's the 2, FSBO.com and forsalebyowner.com are also both good ones.
What is the difference between a for sale by owner listing presentation and a normal seller's presentation?
Is you generally got to go more into the value that you bring to the transaction. So there's an extra page or 2 in the presentation that shows the value we bring to the transaction. So it goes over most of the same stuff that we covered on today's webinar, meaning the banks, 90% of them doing it. It's because the for sale by owner thinks it's easy to sell a house on their own. And they've never thought. Every real estate agent I've talked to that's done a bunch of business knows that at least 50%, if not 60 or 70% of our job is done when we receive an offer. I mean, 50% of our job to 70% of our job is left to be done when we receive the offer, where the for sale by owner thinks that 90% of the job is getting the offer. So that's where you have a little bit of a difference. And that's a great question, by the way.
There was another good one here. Oh, are the Tuesday calls recorded?
Yes.
The value in those is not necessarily in listening to the recordings, although there would be lots of value there. It's the fact that that if you have a pressing question, a question that you need feedback on, you can hop on there and get it answered. This is a great question as well. If you're brand new and never had a transaction, would negotiating with FSBOs have a disadvantage, or would you be at a disadvantage when negotiating with for sale by owners?
No, and here's the odd thing about that question is for sale by owners don't know that there's any difference between real estate agents. So when you go up and you come from a spirit of contribution and you have an enthusiastic attitude and you provide service that we show you how to do, they never even ask if this is your first transaction. So it's a great course. And as I said, it's a course on sales, not really just on for sale by owners. So if you're new in the business, this could be the best gift you gave yourself. 6 months of access to me, a great sales course, a community that you can belong to and ask questions of forever, and a source of business that you will know better than perhaps anybody else in your office or your area.
Yep. Congrats to Jenny Shook on taking action and getting signed up. Welcome to you. We're gonna just a couple more minutes and we're gonna wrap up. So if you have any last questions, Andy says, does it make sense to send a blind CMA to a for sale by owner as a way to trigger a conversation?
It can't hurt. For most people, it's too much work, and I find it's easier to send them ways to make their Zillow ad more effective. Primarily, Zillow exists for one reason, and I'm giving away some of the course here, Josh, so don't be mad at me. Zillow exists for one reason, and that's to sell advertising to real estate agents and lenders. And what we teach you in the course to do is to show them that a buyer that's interested in their house has to fill out the form, skip the contact button, unclick the lender button, unclick the real estate button, click the the property owners button, and then do that again down lower or else that buyer's lead goes to a real estate agent who's paying for the lead, which I object to in 87 different ways. And because that agent pays for the leads, they're usually pretty good about calling you. But I swear, Zillow says they only give it to one person. I swear they sell it to more than one agent. So you may get, with one buyer, you may get 3 or 4 calls from agents saying they have a buyer that's representing the same buyer. And we show you a very simple thing to do to get those buyers to contact you directly, which is the first sentence of your ad. Say, for easiest showing and best information, contact the owner directly. And I've never had a for sale by owner do that without me suggesting it. And they're always thankful for that.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Always.
All right. Well, we're going to sort of wrap up and come in for a landing here. If you had a question or questions that we didn't get to, either I missed or we're just running out of time, again, you can, excuse me, you can email me or you can email Mike, mike.stott@mac.com, mike.stott@mac.com. You can get enrolled at clientalchemist.com/FSBO. The enrollment form looks like this: quick and easy, painless, and you'll get a welcome email with your login instructions, and you can start diving in and digging in immediately. Any final words of wisdom or instruction for our listeners, Mike?
Here's what I'm going to say. As part of the things that we have is we know that if you're agonizing over whether you should do this or not, that power comes with those who will take action. Sign up. Try it. Try it with your whole heart and effort for 30 days, and if it doesn't work, we'll give you a refund. But I can promise you, if you work it, it will work and you'll see returns.
Right on. Couldn't agree more. Taking action is I mean, that's the only way to make things happen. So taking that leap right now and then implementing and taking action on what Mike, the system that Mike will walk you through. That's how people like Tracy and Ryan and Fred and so many others that we shared, Mike, over the last hour and a half have gotten fantastic results. I mean, just many, many, many times return on what's really a minimal investment in the long run. We'll get a replay out to everyone, hopefully tomorrow morning. Welcome again to all of you who have already taken action and gotten enrolled. We're excited for you. Mike, thank you for your time and your knowledge and your dedication and coming from a spirit of contribution. We appreciate you and all that you do. And thank you all for spending some time with us.
Thanks. Have a great day, guys.
You too, Mike. Take care.